Well, it's good for all of us to be together. We're meeting today at an incredibly important time in the country to state the obvious. And over the past 10 months, we've won passage of some, I think, extraordinary parts of our economic agenda. The bipartisan infrastructure law, the biggest infrastructure package since the Eisenhower administration with the help of some of our friends on the other side of the aisle. The CHIPS Act, a law to spur investments and microchips, which I might point out were invented here in the United States of America and refined. But the CHIPS Act is a gigantic investment, and it's going to create a number of jobs and technologies for the future. The Inflation Reduction Act, the law brings down the cost of prescription drugs, health premiums, healthcare premiums, and invests in a made in America and a clean energy future. And the three things, along with other steps we've taken, like the American Rescue Plan, student debt relief, and is proof that democracy can deliver for the people. And there's a foundation of the kind of strong, forward-looking economy that we want to continue to build. The economy with lower prices, more breathing room for middle-class families, an economy with good-paying jobs you can raise a family on and just have, as I said, just a little bit of breathing room, whether you went to college or not. An economy that leads the world in technology and clean energy, and an economy that ends our dependence on foreign sources across the entire supply chain. And so this economy that works for the country from the bottom up and the middle out, as I said from the beginning. I'm not a big fan of trickle-down economics. I find the trickle stops fairly quickly coming down. But when working folks are doing well, the middle class is doing well, the wealthy do very well. Everybody does well. And so today, I've assembled a cabinet to lay out in detail how we're going to implement each of these laws that you work so hard to get passed, and we've gotten passed. And because passing these historic bills is only the first step in delivering to the American people, but it's just that, it's the first step. I've asked each relevant cabinet agency to come forward today with a plan to help get the American people and our economy on the right side as fast as possible, and to spend taxpayers' money wisely. I might add, with all these legislations we passed, Madam Vice President, we've still reduced the deficit substantially. In our first year, over $300 billion, and this year, it's estimated to be somewhere in excess of $1.5 trillion, maybe as much as $1.7 trillion. So, we're going to spend the money wisely to buy American. For example, we're going to lower the cost of prescription drugs by letting Medicare negotiate prices with the drug companies. We've been proposing that for a long time, but pharma is a tough opponent on these issues, and we finally got that legislation through. We're going to reduce the cost of health insurance under the Affordable Care Act because of action we've taken in the past, about $800 a premium this year, or a person this year. And we're going to hire more teachers. We're going to create millions of good-paying jobs, union jobs in manufacturing. I know it's not always the case. Not everyone, even my own team, necessarily agrees with me, but I don't know where it's written that we can't be a manufacturing center for the world. We've created over 600,000 manufacturing jobs, and I think we're going to continue. Just last week, major companies announced billions in new investments to make new solar panels here in the United States, fiber optic cables in the United States, electric cars, computer chips here in the United States. We're going to be employing American workers and using American products. On Friday, I'm going to be going to the groundbreaking of a new state-of-the-art semiconductor facility in Ohio, the biggest investment of its kind ever in our nation. And we're finally bringing home jobs that have been overseas for a while. I notice some of the cabinet members are smiling, but we're doing it, right? And we're making things here in America. We're making our supply chains more secure, and I believe we're winning the race to the future. Details matter, though. Execution matters, and I look forward to everyone here today giving me an update on your departments. And I'm incredibly optimistic about the future that we're building here in this country. But it requires solid work making these laws work. The The devil's in the details. Mitch Landrieu, who can't be here today because his dad, who I knew well, passed away. His dad was a hell of a guy. His dad, way back early in the 60s, was way ahead of everyone in terms of dealing with racial equity in the South, particularly in Louisiana and in New Orleans. But anyway, he passed away yesterday. Mitch is doing a great job leading our team in implementing the infrastructure law. And earlier today, Secretary Raimondo announced a plan we're putting in place to get the CHIPS Act off the ground, and it's just the beginning. And separately, we're also hearing, we're hearing the latest from the Vice President and the Attorney General on everything our administration is doing to protect women and the right to choose in the wake of the Dobbs decision. And finally, I want to welcome John Podesta. Where's John sitting? There you go, John. You're directly under Roosevelt's portrait, so you're okay. John's a good friend. This is his first day on his new job. John, thanks for agreeing to come aboard. John's graciously accepted the task of helping implement the historic clean energy investments and in the Inflation Reduction Act. And his experience in the highest levels of government and the work being done by Gina McCarthy and Ali Zaidi are getting us to the point where it means we're going to hit the ground running. That's the whole point here. With this cabinet, experienced, dedicated, and devoted to working families, we're going to keep building a strong economy and good-paying jobs and products made in America and lead the world in innovation and success. And I'm going to stop there and thank the press for being here, and be careful leaving.
Thank you. At the G20. Let's go. Thank you guys. A message from Ms. Charles. Thank you.
What are you going to tell this question about Northern Ireland, sir?
I'm going to be speaking with the new Prime Minister at 3:30.
Are you going to talk about Northern Ireland, sir?
I'm going to talk to her about a lot of things. Thank you.